When I was a kid, my elders would tell us that if you wanted to be a footballer you first had to look like one. And the one most of them wanted you to look like was West Perth champion Mel Whinnen. His socks were always up. His jumper was always tucked in. He didn't go to ground much. He didn't fumble much. Whinnen, now 75 and inducted into Australian football's Hall of Fame this week, had another trait that generation would have liked: modesty. While's other inductee from this year, South Fremantle's Bernie Naylor, died in 1993, but his numbers speak for him. He played in 194 games, kicked 1034 goals. He won the WA goal-kicking 6 times, played in 6 premiership teams and kicked 44 goals in 16 state games. In 1953 he booted an incredible 167 goals, including 23 in one game, 12 in one quarter. Whinnen has good numbers too, which is a good thing because he doesn't brag about his exploits. Many of the stories he tells are self-deprecating. Like the time Subiaco powerhouse Dennis Farron sat him on his backside when he was 17. I had to make a decision on whether to run through him or run around him. I thought to myself, I am a league footballer now, I should run through him. I bounced back about 10 meters and as I was picking the sand and grass out of my mouth I learned a lesson: think about what you are going to do before you do it, or the time Victorian champion Keith Gregg ran him down from behind, or the time his arch-rival Ray Sorrell taught him a thing or two, in their epic duels in the centre. Mel Whinnen speaks at his induction into the Australian Football Hall of Fame at Crown Palladium this week. Picture, Michael Dodge, Getty Images, whoever you played on in the center, they were all good and on their day they could clean you up, Whinnen said. The thing is, Whinnen didn't get cleaned up very often. He played 371 games for West Perth. He won the club's best and fairest 9 times and finished second in 2 Sandover medal counts. He played in 4 premierships, including one in his first year, 1960, when he arrived as a 17-year-old and graduated through the Colts, seconds and into the league team before his 18th birthday. There were 2 flags under Graham, Polly, Farmer in 1969 and 1971 and one under Graham Campbell in 1975, when Whinnen won a Simpson Medal for Best on Ground. It is the 1971 premiership, won against arch-rivals East Perth, which Whinnen remembers most fondly. It was Polly's last year and we didn't go in as a favourite, he said. Everybody had great respect for Polly. He was a marvellous bloke and pretty tough, sort of a captain coach. By hook or by crook we had to get there, and when we got there it was a huge thrill to win for Polly. Whinnen laughs when he remembers Farmer's influence as a playing coach. It meant spray was never far away. If ever you made a blue you knew a big shadow would loom over your shoulder and whisper sweet nothings in your ear, with a few expletives thrown in, he said. Whinnen had a couple of offers to play in the VFL, but he reckoned that playing on the MCG mud in the middle of winter in state games cured him of the urge. The big cricket pitch in the middle of the MCG seemed like it was about 70 or 80 meters square. It was all mud, real mud, he said. He worked briefly at Geelong and found he didn't like the weather much either. You would go to work in sunshine and come home in a storm. I respected the standard of footy in Victoria. It was the best standard in those days, but I had a good footy club, a good family and a good climate here. I decided to stay. Whinnen is still coming to terms with being a Hall of Famer. He wishes his mate and fellow West Perth Premiership star Bill Dempsey could have been inducted with him, as the pair achieved most of their football honours together. I am on cloud 9. I'm sitting at the same table as Kevin Bartlett and Barry Cable, he said. I really felt a bit out of my depth. I loved my footy and I loved my footy club. I never tried to compare myself with them, but they seemed steps above me. The Butte thing, he said, is that his club and family could take some pride in it. They contributed so much to help it to happen, he said.